Well, you know that they're going to do that. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey there, folks. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for coming.
Love having you.
We're going to go live now
Call me.
because we always talk about good stuff and then we're not live. So we're just going to go live without the theme song, no theme song,
Okay.
because we got Paul. We got Paul Stanford. So we're just going to go for it.
Teresa, would you hand me my glass?
All right. Where's Jim? Jim can't wait for you.
And we
Jim.
are live.
Jim.
Hey, where's Jim Miller? The Jim Miller Show.
Jim.
I don't have my mixing board, so I can't do the. Can you do the Jim Miller's song, Johnny? Probably not.
No, I don't have a board plugged in.
Here, I found. Listen to this.
Feedback.
Tell me if you think this sounds like Jim. It says, and I don't know who wrote this quote, but I like it. It says, "I can only heal myself to where I've already been. I need help from others to go any further." No? I thought it was pretty cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
None of us is going to make it on their own, regardless of unless you're out in the woods, fashioning your own weapons and making skins to cloth or clothing.
I know somebody who does that.
I bet he's got a steel knife.
So what's new out in Oregon?
Oh, just we're happy today that the Supreme Court has ruled that the gun owners can use marijuana. That's just not here. That's all across the country. I help medical marijuana patients. We saw about 40 patients this week, but I would say some percentage, maybe 5-10%. They don't want to get a medical marijuana card because it would interfere with their gun rights. So that's no longer
Now they don't have
an
to
issue in terms of that. That's one good thing. We've got the Oregon Hemp Fest coming up on the 26th and 27th. So not this weekend, but next. That's down in Southern Oregon. And, we're still just plugging away. How's life in the New Jersey, in that area?
Oh, the lovely
It's the
data
same.
center state.
It's the same. It hasn't
Same here.
changed.
We're starting to get some warm weather here. Oregon's a state where you can at least in the past, before global warming. Hi, Jim.
Hey,
Wear a coat into June,
yeah. The late Jim
Do
Miller.
you get that June gloom like in Southern California?
I don't know anything about it. There have been a lot of people who had the flu a few weeks ago, I think, but I haven't seen anybody lately.
No, not flu. They call it June gloom because it's so gloomy in the morning.
Well, after
Mushroom
spending the
season.
winter here, you don't get gloomy over that stuff. It just takes one winter of no sunshine for 2 months, and then a day of sunshine is worshipped. It's you really appreciate it. And so, we only had 2 days of sunshine this week. Oh, that was great. It's beats sometime. We usually don't get real heavy rain here, but we get real light mist often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're kind of like Seattle, right?
Yeah, we're in the same climatic zone as Seattle. About 3-hour drive apart, 150
Yeah,
miles.
we actually get more rain here than you guys do out that way. Everybody thinks that Oregon and Washington, you get a lot of rain. But when they measure it, we get more rain than you do.
Get the intense storms.
Yeah.
I lived back east until I was 21, so I know what that's like.
Where did you live?
I lived in Asheville, North Carolina, from 75 to 80. I was in Wilmington at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington for about 8 or 9 months. Then I moved up here to the Northwest to follow my mother, who had moved up here to help her brother, whose wife had died during open heart surgery. That was back in 81, a long time ago.
Okay.
But I'm glad I got to the Northwest as opposed to where I was at, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's the South.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in the South.
Hmm.
Even when I lived there, people would say, "Where are you from? You don't sound like you're from around here." But
Yeah.
I went to
Around here.
North Carolina State University, which is
ah,
90% from North Carolina.
yeah.
Uh, I got to tell you, they were some of the friendliest people.
Yeah.
But they, and maybe even rightfully so, we got made fun of. I mean, look it. They don't say look it, and wooder, like what do you call it? Wooder,
Woodard.
and the thing is, all you got to do is learn not to make fun of them back, and they don't know what, they get a little confused, drop a couple of bombs on myself usually, but
Paul, when you talk about the NRA, was the NRA involved in this at all, in lobbying at all?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of different groups came together. The NRA was part of the coalition. That's what I read on the New York Times anyway.
well, that was as a result of the lawsuit, where they had a forum to express that in and take part. Did they do much we weren't aware of before that, though? Because, Lefty, a couple times on the podcast, we'd call them up and talk to them about it, and they're nice enough. But yeah, I had no idea about that, and it was your post on Facebook I saw right off. I believe, and I'm like, am I reading this? Is this a state Supreme Court of some kind? Because I didn't want to believe the actual Supreme Court. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know it was even about to happen.
I didn't realize it was coming up either, but I'll tell you, here in Oregon, our Oregon Supreme Court, back circa about 2006 or so, they ruled that having a medical marijuana permit was not, it can't be used against having a concealed weapons license, not just a weapons license, but a concealed weapons license. And two counties in Oregon appealed that to the United States Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court wouldn't review it. So it stood that in Oregon, that wasn't a hindrance to getting your license. But if you answer yes, I use marijuana or an illegal drug on their questionnaire, they won't sell a gun to you in the past. But now, that's what they got Hunter Biden on, was that he had said that he wasn't, he didn't have illegal drugs or something like that on the gun. That was his main crime.
Yeah.
Oh, before going further, I forgot, Paul, you might not know my better 2/3 for the last 18 years is Kathy.
Wow. Nice to meet you, Kathy.
She knows about you. Your name comes up, and she was kind of peeking in before, but now she's an official approved member to sit here and keep an eye on us.
Okay.
She's not a bobbing head doll and hard to impress. So when she's liking something, we're in, I swear to God, it's a tough audience.
So what else is new out there in Oregon?
Oh, gee. It looks like they got enough signatures to qualify for medical marijuana in Idaho. Idaho has been the most restrictive state for marijuana, not even allowing medical, but they turned in enough signatures. They haven't got the final, you got enough signatures, but they turned in like 100% more than they needed.
Wow.
So
Nice.
There's some controversy with the company. Utah companies apparently isn't paying off their last couple of weeks of payroll or something, but the Utah petition company that organized or was paid to do it. It was actually paid for by a few hemp farmers in Idaho that had been growing hemp, and they were afraid that somehow they pay. It's very expensive to put something on the ballot, so millions of dollars basically.
Signatures paid for. In other words, $1 per signature you get, because used to be like that when
used to be $1 a signature.
Yeah, and then when it got tight, they could even up it sometimes. I hear,
Yeah. Well, they have to pay by the hour too. So you'd get an hourly wage. And we had to meet those requirements in Oregon when we put marijuana legalization on the ballot. But this was at where I'm at right now was actually the office where we put marijuana legalization on the ballot in 2012 and 2014.
Yeah, you're lucky to be able to have initiative and referendum.
Yeah.
Is nice. And like I do like to say every chance I get, we in New Jersey voted against it somewhere in the 90s. It was on the ballot. Do we want to be able to put things on the ballot ourselves? And we voted no. I got New Jersey.
That doesn't make any sense, but
Well, forget about it. We'll do it anyway. We don't need permission. Maybe in that respect, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I still can't come to grips with it, but that's a pretty long list of shit like that too. So, I'm always glad to, and in New Jersey, the one thing, I keep skirting around the edge of thinking, is there a way to kind of have a little fun with it? Is it's very specific in our legalization bill that adults in New Jersey over the age of 21 have the right to give any amount of legally bought, purchased at a dispensary cannabis to another adult up to 1 ounce, which means if you were gathering signatures for something, obviously not for a referendum because we don't have that, but there's still, you want to gather signatures to get your name on a ballot. I had to get 100 signatures to run for state Senate in 2007, and there's only 100 signatures. But, it seems to me, just to kind of rub it under face, it'd be nice to be able to give out joints for signatures, so joints, and publicly, if you need to get some joints, come get some signatures, assuming there's a way to assure that they were from, with receipts and pictures or whatever, I don't, it just seems like it's there.
I only know about filing initiatives and campaign financial reports here in Oregon, but I can tell you that every penny that comes in or goes out, including in-kind donations like a joint, are supposed to be recorded and listed in your financial reports and then are publicly available on the internet.
It's probably like that here too, but I ran it. I don't accept donations of any kind. No money raised, no money spent.
Oh, okay.
None. I wasn't going to spend it anywhere. I just did that to take advantage of the Asbury Park Press editorial board.
Yeah, gives you a forum.
Calling me in, and I couldn't meet my Senator Cecil. He wouldn't. We were Cheryl and I picketing the office, calling them medical marijuana cowards and liars and stuff, and nobody would ever come out and say hi. And when I went into the office, and it was a really large building, I see him. I walk right over, and he goes, "Oh, Jim, glad to finally, no, good to see you again," or something like that. And I said, "We've never met." He went, "Sure we have." "Oh, you've seen me so much right outside your office. You feel like we've met, So it really worked. But we're not here to talk about me. But you might be proud of this one, though. I said, I want to talk to you about something. And he was expecting, a medical cannabis conversation. And I said, it's sort of like I was dealing with the head of health in New Jersey. And he said that it is the opinion of the Department of Health that there's other drugs that work just as better in almost every case than cannabis or marijuana. And that he told me, I challenged him on it, and he told me when the Commissioner of Health says it, it becomes the position of the Department of Health. I checked it out, and it's kind of true. So I asked him, doesn't that bother you a little bit? He did this to me. He went, "Oh, I'm sorry, I tuned you out." Like knowing thinking I'm a hothead. I'm really not like that. That's an opportunity. I was just explaining it earlier that, when somebody does certain things, you want to, when he felt the need to do that, like he could get somewhere. I looked at him, I turned away, I said, "Oh, tactical error, dude." And then he was waiting for him. I'm sitting this close to him, in between him and a Democrat who didn't want anything to do with it either. And he kept waiting for it to come up, and it didn't. And 45 minutes in, my turn after they spoke, and he had said, you know, it's sorry there's such a disconnect between legislators and their constituents because he's in the minority, you know, and that's how the minority plays the majority. So when he said that, Jim, how do you feel about that? And I looked and said, it's the first time I can say this. I agree with my senator. There is a terrible disconnect, as best illustrated right down in your lobby, because we'd never met. And I told him this story that I just told you. And I said, and then when I told you about that, you know, and I said down there, and I said something like, do you remember how you replied? And he's looking, and I almost felt sorry for him, like I caught him, you know, because they're waiting too. And I said, oh, you said, I tuned you out. And with disconnect like that in your office, you can only imagine how it's going. So I agree with him. And they didn't know what to happen, you know, and at the end, he tried to save face. We're all, actually, they're coming over me to talk to me as we stood up. And he said, Jim, it is fun. It's good to finally meet you. And everybody knows I don't let go of your hand when I'm shaking until I'm done, you know. So like when he said that and we're shaking, I said, really, is that a fact? Kind of looked painful to me, and I threw his hand away. I mean, he didn't go like that, but I made the motion like that and pivoted and walked. And it was awesome, you know. But that's you know. So what else you want to know? I'm like kidding. You know, you got so much going on. That's why I like having you here. I'm just giving you a breather, you know, because you know, it's impossible to know 1/10 of what you've done in your life, and that impresses me because I've been there for a lot of it and all that, you know. But you know,
It's amazing to me too sometimes, to be honest, you know,
because
it's been a long hempen road, you know, and
man, it's amazing.
It all started when I first smoked pot when I was 11 at the babysitter's house with the Vietnam vet, you know, and I was in Dallas, Texas then, and the Vietnam vet, I think if he'd been convicted of smoking pot with me at that time, capital punishment was illegal. There hadn't been capital punishment for several years back in the 70s, and then the Supreme Court reinstated it. But he would have done more time for smoking pot with me than if he had killed me at that point in time. But
that's a funny way to put it, because it's both me, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so you're comparing it to you and to you.
Yeah, and it was that time, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, my first real political protest was the White House smoke-in, just a week after my 18th birthday. I went to that. It was pretty enlightening. I met some people. I didn't really meet them, but I saw them. Dana Beal was up speaking a lot. Gatewood Galbraith, the Kentucky attorney, was there in a tri-corner hat.
Awesome.
Lots of others. I met them later, but then I was just a person in the crowd, chanting and smoking. You know.
What was the physical authority presence there? What was that like?
Oh, yeah, there was a line covering the whole block on both sides of the block. There were 10 cops on horses, 10 cops on motorcycles, 10 cops on horses, 10 cops on motorcycles, right in front of the White House. We were in Lafayette Park. I read somewhere they're going to fence off Lafayette Park. You know, Trump is permanently. But anyway, we had chance. At the time, Jimmy Carter was president, and he was a peanut farmer, and they had been spraying paraquat, a deadly poison, on crops in Mexico that the people would harvest, and they'd sell it to Americans who would smoke it, and their lungs would crystallize and they would die. So we would chant paraquat peanuts, you know, and lots of other things like that. It was enlightening.
Did they have the transport buses with the chain link fence on the windows or whatever? I mean,
you know, they one of the things they did on the day before the 4th of July, they had what they called a bust-in day. There were about 5,000 of us there. And the idea was they can't bust 5,000 people. And so we actually would chant, bust us, bust us, bust us. But they didn't even try to do it. Carter was president. If Trump had been president, I'm sure we would have all been slammed to the ground. But
Dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I talked Kathy into going down to Washington for a dance party at the Jefferson Memorial when Adam Kokesh, he's a piece of work, and he wanted to protest it because when he heard that 2 people got arrested, because they were more or less just sort of embracing, like, we're in the memorial, and I don't know that there was any music. They called it dance or something, and you can't dance. You can't. So he went and danced and had it videoed, and he got body slammed.
Wow.
But what impressed me, and the reason I wanted to go down, is he was on his back, hand on his throat, and he went, "Get your hand off my throat," And I was so impressed because he wasn't looking like angry. He was looking like, and he was recently returned combat veteran, so he was, doing that. But we went up there to, and they had the buses ready and horseback. It was like a freaking dance party. There was probably 100 people there, and they could have taken many times that away. I do forget. I wish I could remember his name. It's Kiroshi. Somebody. He was really well known around here for way back in that day, doing a thing at the Liberty Bell. And what reminded me of what you said is, he said, so we knew they couldn't get 19 people into a paddy wagon, so we surrounded it for smoking, And then he goes, they could fit 19 people though. Like they were sure that it was too many for them, and they jammed them in,
Yeah. That's
78 would that have been when you were doing that in Washington?
Yeah, that was the year I was 18, was 78. Yeah.
I don't know if it was all across the country, but
It was a different age. Cannabis was much more common socially. People were younger then too. The general age of people was younger. The baby boom was such a large demographic that there weren't as many older people and people over 30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was 18 at the end of 76. I graduated when I was 17, and it was a whole different world. And I left it for a while. Coming back into it was such a social or such a culture shock. Wasn't like it was back in our day when it was easy, it was fun, and
you were safe.
Simple.
Pretty much. I remember I lived right beside the Blue Ridge Parkway in Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
So we would often go up on the Blue Ridge Parkway and smoke pot and other skateboard and bicycle. But we were smoking pot, and a park ranger, federal law enforcement officer, comes up behind us. Our truck is just filled with marijuana smoke. The cop comes up. The driver rolls down the window. You can see the cloud of smoke hit the cop in the face. He sniffs a little bit, goes, "Are you boys drinking any beer?" Said, no, we're not drinking any beer. You guys be careful. And he went on his way and didn't bother us. I didn't realize what a federal marijuana bust was at the time, but it was, simple possession of even less than an ounce would have been a pretty big ordeal.
Yeah, well, that was the grain at that time. Got out of a van after, smoking 4 in the back, 2 in the front, all the way up to Roosevelt. Yeah. When Grateful Dead was playing with the band. And we're out in this large parking lot. And the minute we got out, there's a Roosevelt City cop, and it's the black uniform, the gloves and all that. He was like right there. So the guy with the pipe were taken in, like tossed it under the van and hold it right there. And we're like, shit. And he goes on, he bends down. It wasn't that far under it. He picks it up and he goes, "What are you, stupid or something?" And he throws it back down on the ground. I thought you had a weapon. He was walking away. You know, I mean, it was pleasant surprises, and you wouldn't get it taken away if it wasn't more like closing in on an ounce or something. It just wasn't done. And
It was very common to go to rock and roll shows, and 2/3 of the audience would be wafting in a cloud of cannabis. You know, nowadays they'll come up and they'll stop you and throw you out if you do that. But at the time, I am actually getting a call from Dana Beal at Idaho prison. I'm going to have to. I have been doing a fundraiser for Dana on GoFundMe. We've raised over $16,000, including $10,000 for his bail, and we just made a $1,000 payment on his fine. He's got about another $4,500 fine. He went into jail in February. It was actually when him going to jail was filmed and on a special on Hulu that has it was New York and getting on a subway, and then it shows him going into jail last February. It's something 420 hits, quick hits. So it's 4 20-minute little documentaries. One of them about High Times magazine. And so that's the one that Dana that ended on him, showing pictures of him when he was younger and when he went into jail there in February. But anyway, he calls me about 10 times a day, every day at 8 a.m. my time. And I've got his cell phone. And so, it's all recorded by the Idaho prison. I use his cell phone on Signal and WhatsApp and Messenger to put him in touch with people in Ghana and Israel and the Czech Republic and others who are working on this whole ibogaine business.
Yeah.
And so somehow I listened to a lot of that. And, I was nearly close by. I didn't realize that the White House smoke-in was organized by the Yippies when I was 18. But when I was 20, I worked as a DJ in a college radio station in Wilmington, North Carolina. And they had a 2-album set about the Chicago conspiracy hearing. And, Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin were Yippies, and they were probably the most vocal people in this teleplay. It's been made into another movie on, Netflix recently. But with Sacha Cohen, the guy from Borat. But anyway, when I was 21, I read this book, an Abby Hoffman biography called Soon to Be a Major Motion Picture. And at the end of it, it said to contact Dana Beal at 9 Bleecker Street if you want to get involved with the Yippies.
Yeah.
And so in that day, you wrote a letter. So I wrote a letter, and I became a Yippie contact in their newspaper Overthrow. And I found I could sell the newspaper Overthrow for pocket change, because at the back of the newspaper every month it told you how to make free phone calls using the telephone company's codes. And it also gave you a list of people to charge it to, like the Ku Klux Klan and the American Nazi Party and your weapon manufacturers. You could put it on their bill.
Yeah, I remember that, because I am that old. But Dana was one of the founders of the Yippies.
Yeah, he was just a teenager then.
Yeah. And because I was a member of, I was younger than him, but I was a member of SDS. So we kind of interlocked at times.
I worked for Tommy Hayden for a little bit.
Did you?
In Santa Monica. And made pretty good money for that time. And I didn't really meet, but saw Jane Fonda at his headquarters one time. He was still married to her then.
Yeah.
But
Sasha played Jerry Rubin in a TV thing.
On Netflix.
Yeah, or something. I seem to remember that.
Yeah, he played Abby in that Netflix Chicago 8 conspiracy thing.
When did Dana get arrested?
He's been arrested so many times. He was in jail in '68 for marijuana when the Chicago riots happened, So, oh, Dana's trying to call me on another phone here. He does that
Take
sometimes.
the call, Paul. Go ahead. Take it.
Oh,
Tell them
okay.
we're live on the air, though.
You're on the air.
Mountain View Transformation Center. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse it, this call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
So Dana, yeah, I am on a podcast, the Sativa
Cross.
the Sativa Cross out of New Jersey, and we were just talking about you. Say hi to our audience.
Hi, how are you, folks?
Yeah. So you want to tell them who's here?
Well, am I talking or the person who's the host talking?
You're talking right now, but there are myself and 5 other people that are here on the show.
Well, I just got my time extended, but I'm trying to make the most of it, and I have 60 days where I can do stuff. And I just talked to the assistant warden, a guy named Colin, about meeting with him on Monday. Now, the Idaho prison system is really overcrowded. They're having to ship people to Arizona. They're thinking of shipping people to Alaska. So, obviously, they need a safety valve. And the thing is, we have Ibogaine, which, as you may know, Trump signed an executive order to get into the VA because it heals traumatic brain injury in veterans who've been caught in roadside explosions and such. But Ibogaine is especially interesting because it's good for drug addiction and alcohol and cigarettes. And this is a big crystal meth state, Idaho. And there is no other known treatment for crystal meth besides Ibogaine. It's also good for polydrug dependency. Say somebody is smoking a mixture of fentanyl and meth. What do you do with that person? Obviously, Suboxone is not going to work on them. So we have Suboxone and methadone for opiates, but we don't really have anything for amphetamines, cocaine, alcohol. They kind of have Revia, but that's a variation on Suboxone. And of course, like something like 1/3 of people who do Ibogaine spontaneously quit tobacco. So it's this miracle plant from Africa called Tabernacle Iboga, and it was discovered back in 1963 by Howard Lotza. Was thrown into jail on an LSD conspiracy because they found out what he was doing, and he wasn't actually guilty of anything. So it's been suppressed for a long time. We should have pushed it under Jimmy Carter, but we didn't start until Ronald Reagan got in, and we realized we're not going to get pot legalized in the next 18 months. So we worked all during the 80s, and then around May 1, we got a clinical trial going at NIDA, which was abandoned under Clinton, since it was no longer Bush. And in one roughly 4-month period, they legalized OxyContin. They released Subutex, which is a predecessor of Suboxone, and they canceled Ibogaine. So then we got Purdue Pharma. So we've been working on it ever since, and now Trump has signed an executive order to bring it into the VA. So it's not exactly the same thing as pot, but it really is a good, pot has been paired with different things over the years. It was paired originally with a beat mix, it was paired with speed, then it was paired with LSD, then it was paired with cocaine. And I think it's much better to pair cannabis with a cure for art drugs.
I actually have a collection of antique medical marijuana containers from Park Davis, Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson. And in fact, it was paired with many different things: morphine, chloroform, capsicum from peppers, Just lots of different cannabis compounds. And aspirin, one topical from Johnson & Johnson was salicylic acid and cannabis, and it's a topical, about an eighth of an inch, dark green.
I'm talking
poultice.
not about just pharmaco pairing. I'm talking about what do you align cannabis with politically?
I know you're trying to put CBG and CBD in some ibogaine things, but let's talk, Dana, since you're here, talk about what you started with, saying your sentence has been extended. They threatened Dana with being drugged.
Because I offended this lady who was teaching a substance abuse course, and I just started on the wrong foot, and I knew I wasn't able to step out of shit.
Dana at first thought he would be out at the end of June. Then they didn't put him in the actual prison. They put him in the place called the Mountain View Transformation Center. They're going to transform Dana. And so they have classes that they teach there, and there's 2 sets of classes they're saying he has to go through. So he was in one class, and they said, oh, because you have to finish this class, you're not going to get out till November. Well, a couple weeks ago, they kicked him out of the class and told him he has to start over again. And he could get as much as 10 years in prison if they really wanted to screw with him. But right now, he's still in the transformation center. But they've moved him around in there because they don't want him to talk.
We're trying to pay off a fine. People can give to the GoFundMe that Paul has, and if we pay off this fine, it will cut my exposure, the amount of time I could do. Ultimately, if I flunked everything, and well, I'm hoping that won't happen. But Paul can give the GoFundMe. It will cut my time from 9 years to 4 if they make me serve my whole time. So we really want to pay the fine off as soon as possible. And I got a few people today to contribute money. But with this new news that my time has been extended to 3 months. So it's kind of getting people to wake up and smell the coffee.
So surprise, surprise, you've got Dana Beal on Sativa Cross. Straight from the Idaho Mountain View Transformation Center.
Yep. I can talk to a lot of people from in here.
Yeah.
I keep putting money on his phone accounts. He goes through about 200 or 250 a month at 8 cents a minute.
Wow.
And we need more money. If we need more than that, we have to raise, besides that, we have to raise $1,000 a month to pay off this fine. But I'd rather get it paid off right away because the things are very unstable, you understand? And it would be good if I could go back in front of the judge and get my sentence cut. The sooner the better. So,
Dana turns 80 in January.
January 9th.
I was just telling him how you were at that Hulu special, Quick Hits.
Yeah.
4 times 20.
I'm also doing a lot of exercise, which really helps. I have onset Parkinson's. And aside from a tendency to salivate a little extra, pretty good. My balance has come back. I'm not going to have a side stumble.
Tell him how much you're doing.
Yeah, I'm doing 110 push-ups every morning and 8 laps.
Whoa.
So this is a 79-year-old man.
Yeah. Who had a quad bypass in the Wisconsin State Prison as they were moving him to the Nebraska State Prison back about a decade ago.
I was being jail to go to prison.
Yeah.
And it really should have been the county had transferred jurisdiction, so they had to pay for the induced coma. But it was dead too long. And then they cut me a break. It wasn't really a break. They gave me appeal bond, which meant that I had to pay for the double bypass. Anyway, I got $400,000 of medical treatment on that stem. I'm not getting any medical treatment here. Well, I'm interested to see what will happen when I talk to the assistant board. I just talked to my case manager, and they can't achieve anything for me except maybe take over as my subpoena instructor. I don't want to have to deal with this other lady again. I don't think she was honest.
You know, we could play something like real quick here, me not identifying myself, like from the old "This Is Your Life" days, you know, when they. So this is your life, Dana. Think back to a time in April of 2000 when a young man needed your help because he was so addicted that his stepdad was really worried about him and got in touch with you, and you sent him the information to go over to Amsterdam to Sarah's place.
Oh, you mean Carl?
Yeah, it's Jim, man. How you doing?
Carl Miller.
Yeah, this is Jim Miller right here. I'm messing with you, man. I've been enjoying the conversation till now, but I figured I had to butt in, you know. So
It worked. You know, he had a kid.
yeah.
So Jim Miller got a grandkid out of that deal.
Yeah, the only problem in that story is he didn't realize that maintenance would be necessary. And he had some problems and had a spiral and overdosed. But he didn't understand, and maybe that was part my fault. Maybe I didn't.
Well, no, the thing is with Ibogaine, you have to don't pick up. You cannot like do a single bit of heroin or whatever. You have to be really stubborn.
No, yeah, he was so good otherwise. You know, he quit smoking for 2 weeks and didn't know it because he was back in here and everything, and somebody said, "You want a cigarette?" And before he stopped himself, he had one out of reflex. He hadn't even realized he quit cigarettes. You know, so everything you say.
He shouldn't have done cigarettes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but he did. You know, he did so well, and to watch it happen, to bear witness to him coming back 10 days later, and sleeping maybe 3 hours a night, but being in a good mood and wide awake, and then. You know, maybe you might be interested in knowing this. Carl said, "Jim, you got to take me by where I used to score. I need to know. I need to know. I just want to drive by it." And I said, "Okay." So we went, and it was in Lakewood, and we went. We got on the street apparently, and then he said, "Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around." And I'm like, "What is there? What am I missing?" And he said his blood started to boil. And it felt like it was boiling. And, you know, it blew me away to watch that happen. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't surprise you. You've heard a lot of stories, but I watched that happen, and it was very powerful. And, you know, it was, you know, if it weren't for you, he would have died. So, you know, you gave him decades worth of a life worth living. So, you know, I wish I could do something more for you, but I'll put the fundraiser on.
Well, put money on the GoFundMe. If you're grateful, put money.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if you know keep up with me, but yeah, I gotta steal money to put it on anywhere. You know, ironically, my only income right now is I'm Cheryl Miller's surviving spouse. Or I wouldn't even. So, you know, and she did her best work for earning money in the 70s. So figure how little that is. But I will put it up on my Facebook presence, and I'll be very clear about what I just said, and see if I can't get people to share it around using that as a story. I can do that for you.
That would be great.
Well,
Can I ask Dana a question?
Certainly.
Sure.
Okay. There was a period of time that we lived in a pool house, okay, and the person that owned this pool house was a psychiatrist, and he got into some kind of trouble because he and whoever else he was, you know, working with, they were doing they were studying and doing research and I guess trialing tryptophan.
Right.
And they got shut down. and I think they got, I even believe they got their licenses revoked or what have you. Now, tryptophan,
Tryptophan? Wow.
tryptophan, yeah, is, well, that's what they said. Now, I'm thinking tryptamine is ibogaine, you know, it's all the same, on the same level, right? I mean, I don't know that much about ibogaine.
Tryptophan. Tryptophan is basically a serotonin precursor.
Right. That much I know.
Ibogaine works through the serotonin transporter. It gets into the cell.
Right. So what it works with, it's really working with the neurotransmitters, right? With the serotonin and
Well, it
melatonin.
mimics serotonin, and the transporter, which is the thing that takes the serotonin off the receptor so it doesn't desensitize, it gets fooled into like sucking in the ibogaine. It comes into contact with the inside of the cell and expresses a couple of nerve growth factors, which account for a lot of the anti-addictive effect, but also, the effect of healing traumatic brain injury in veterans.
Okay. So it actually works with a lot of the sleep wake cycles too, right? Because of the
ibogaine is a memory drug. It enables you basically use the part of the brain where you dream to peer into the back brain, where basically it's the part of the brain that enables you to ride a bicycle. And your cues are lodged in the back brain, so you don't usually have access to them, but you can actually evaluate stuff and go through trauma and different, a lot of emotional stuff that you have in a dispassionate state on ibogaine. And so it's very good for auditing all kinds of kind of subconscious garbage that you have,
Okay, so for research purposes, some of these.
Well, right now, I've got to tell you, there's a group called Americans for Ibogaine. They're amassed $110,000 to do an FDA trial, and they have a number of sites. They're working in a number of states. Actually, Idaho is in their franchise, but Idaho was not able to get a law passed. So right now it's kind of stalled, and maybe I can do something about it. I got this extra 2 months. I might as well make the most of it.
Okay, so really what it is, it's like a neuromodulator. It
we have an ibogaine clinic in Arcata, California.
I'm sorry.
Eureka. We have an ibogaine clinic now in the United States. In this place decriminalized ibogaine, and they have a clinic in California. It's not that far from here.
Okay. So what are they looking for there? What are they doing?
Well, they're just doing small amount of treatments, but they could hold up if there was interest.
Okay. I think that there is a lot of interest because there's, we keep seeing
the bomb outfit, and now the bomb is doing nursing. So the guy, I don't know how many assistants he has, or how many people he can do. But theoretically, people could go for Boise and get there in about 10 hours.
Well, okay, so what weren't some of whatever, the tryptamine and what have you, weren't they originally used for migraines?
Tryptophan?
Yeah.
I believe it could be. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of specialized in one thing. I know a lot about one thing, but I know some stuff about everything. I read molecular neuropharmacology 5 times.
Okay.
And, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to get out of here. I hope that, they don't completely say you failed and you got to go to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that would suck. God.
So we got to pay this fine off, folks. We have to raise $5,000.
We
That's-
paid $1,000 last month.
Okay. How much
Right.
is the fine? How much
It
is
was $5,556.22, and so it's
Yeah,
only $4,556 left.
okay?
No, but it's not. The deal was we would pay extra in order to get the time payment. It went up to
Well, that's what the
$6,000.
lady at the county clerk's office told me, so I'm just going by what the county clerk said.
Oh, she said we only have to pay $4,500.
$4,500 more on top of the $1,000 we paid a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
I mean, I'm sending the check to her.
How is that fucking?
I don't know. It seems like a lot to me. We've already raised like 16,700. So, but 10,000 went to the bail bonds
Yeah.
when he was first locked up.
Well,
in
it was another
2024.
GoFundMe, and people squandered the money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Much money that people donated ended up going to.
Once the other one went belly up, I took over. Dana
Well, it was
asked me
my
to set
daughter.
one up.
My daughter now has full-blown epilepsy. So people send it to the wrong GoFundMe. It just goes for her medical care, which is not bad, but that doesn't get me out of jail.
Right. Right.
But that's good to know. It means I only have to go. I'll have to raise additional $500 for bond. So it's still about $6,000. Anyway,
Especially the way
it's
you
really
use the
great.
phone.
It's really great. We have to have money for phone, or I can't do anything. I'm trying to open a hospital in New York City. And we have to get enabling legislation to make it legal, because we don't want to do anything illegal. I used to sell pot, not legally. For a while, I was the chief medical marijuana provider in New York, but that was only on a handshake. That wasn't really authorized by law. It was the height of the AIDS crisis, though, so they got us a break. And then, bunch of stuff happened. And I went to Ukraine with Ibogaine, which was supposed to go to Mexico, but I got blocked out of Mexico. So I went to Ukraine and they delivered 58 grams of Mexican Ibogaine to the Ukrainian army. And I came back and I was kind of desperate. And remember, they cut off all the money for Ukraine at that point. And I thought I would be a hero. And I got a bunch of fun, but then the transmission dropped out. There were the cops. The rest is, as they say, history.
Can't hear what's going on.
No, I know I couldn't hear him.
So anyway, I'm anxious to hear from Paul if anybody's come in on the GoFundMe. But I'll probably talk to them.
Andy Cowell gave you $200 today, and somebody else gave you $20. And that was then the $48 from Rob Gordon last week.
Yeah.
So that was the first in the last
Who
2
gave
weeks.
20?
I can't remember the name right now.
He's a piece of work.
I remember Andy Cowell because he called me.
Yeah, well, it might have been a guy named Chris Shanks, but
Yeah, that's it. That's who it was. All right, that was it.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a movement.
Well, listen, we're doing a podcast. There's actually 5 other people in here. Does anybody else want to say anything to Dana? The unexpected guest?
Yeah. Well,
You didn't know I was the keeper of his communication lifeline.
I'm
Maybe you did.
I'm really curious about Ibogaine. Dana, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. is there any significant I don't know, punch to ibogaine causing cardiac arrhythmias?
No, that isn't really what happens. What happens is you just have to monitor it closely. You can take magnesium. Magnesium smooths that out. Or just regular magnesium, not magnesium.
What kind of magnesium?
Cardiac arrhythmias are rare.
What kind of magnesium?
This is exaggerated by the competition, right? Like the Suboxone industry puts out a lot of negative information about ibogaine, and there's ibogaine skeptics, right?
Right.
There was this one guy, Matt Busby, writing about ibogaine deaths, and he included a woman who fell into a river. It had nothing to do with ibogaine. Oh, and Jeffrey Chamlin is getting his medical license back. He was the person who connected all this stuff. And this guy was just Matt Busby was just a fucking sensational writer. So you gotta he said there were 10,000 ibogaine treatments worldwide. It's more like 1 million. I actually ran into 2 people in the jail here who'd done ibogaine in one unit, among 110 people. So it's pretty widespread,
Okay,
And,
what about
you don't get that many deaths if it was really, as long as
Hold on, Dana.
it's given by competent sitters, competent providers, it's pretty safe.
Do you want to say anything else?
what about, well, yeah, I was going to say something and I just lost it. Wait, okay. How is ibogaine used in sacred ceremonies?
Well, you gotta understand there's 2 uses in places like the Gabon, right? People chew it all the time, a little bit, for the beneficial effects. But once in their lifetime, they take a big amount. And you have to eat a huge amount of root beer to get this effect. And they have like a full-blown ibogaine experience.
So it's used in ayahuasca, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right in their, the young teens. And then they use it in small quantities for the rest of their life.
Okay. And it's used in small quantities with DMT also?
People are getting ready to go for dinner here. I'm going to have to cut this short.
Okay.
Okay, Dana, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Dana.
Well, I don't have to go yet.
Thank you.
I'd like to stay on. I just, I'm going to, at a certain point, have to hang up, is all I'm saying.
Well, while I got a chance,
What else do people want to know?
well, this is Jim again, Dana. I was wondering maybe something.
What else do people want to know?
I don't hear anybody else with questions.
Am I on here?
You're on.
Well,
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I had a question.
I got to actually make one more call here.
All right.
So I'm going to go.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Dana.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was.
That's
wondering,
what I spend 30 minutes to an hour doing every day.
You're a good man.
You are a good man.
Channeling Dana. I cannot hear you.
Yeah, Dana's quirky.
Somehow I have lost sound.
Unmute yourself. Oh, there you go.
Can
you hear us?
me?
I'm going to log out and log back in.
Okay.
Is my mic on?
You're on.
You're
Okay.
on.
Yeah, I need somebody to say yes because
Yeah, he's got to go back out because that's happened to me.
Yeah,
It's that damn AI data center.
I was gonna try to. I would have been able
That's a
to.
song. That's a song, Johnny. I hear a song coming.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna.
Well, that was amazing.
I'm here just eating dinner. Nobody needs to see that.
Okay, I can hear you again.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me? I don't think I can.
Yes.
Ah, good.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Okay, so around here there is a lot of curiosity about ibogaine. I'm 5 minutes out of the city, so the curiosity probably percolates a lot more in being interested in, because psychedelics are really being pushed, and I guess that people are really curious about what are the psychedelic effects of something like ibogaine. I know that ibogaine is being advertised a lot for drug addiction, which Dana spoke about.
He's been pioneering that since the 70s and 80s for sure.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, because the thing that I read, when I was reading up a little bit about ibogaine, is the tryptamine and the tryptophan, and tryptophan is in turkey. That's why turkey makes you sleepy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty interesting. It's just like that nature, the nature thing, it just weaves in and out.
I had a good question for Dana, but I didn't have it.
He's
So
gone now.
Yeah, I know.
So it's Paul.
The reason I want to tell you all about it. Is he talked about the dosage, and everybody's talking about the dosage and all these things. But when he said that once a year they have a really large dose and I'm thinking finally I could say, Dana, let me explain in case he knows a lot. He might have forgot that Carl's example was he called me up. Sarah put him on the phone and said he's not going to make a lot of sense, but he wanted to talk to you. Everything's going good. This is 3 days later. He thought he'd been to Africa. And he thought that he was in a village in Africa that was being terrorized by like an animal, and he was the only one that could kill it. So he doesn't remember how he did, but he remembers getting back to the village and he had the head of this animal. And I honestly should have got it right away. What was that like? The symbol for addiction, the head of the beast. And weird. But then when he's talking about a ceremony thing, if he thought he was in Africa, and when he got back, he goes, oh, yeah, here's the phone number a guy from Africa gave me. I guess it's probably not a phone number. He actually wrote down a phone number so he could call this guy. Yeah. Sarah explained it to him, but I wanted to ask him, does that sound like the heroic dose that because if you knew that was coming, I can see where that could be an extremely, what some people might find a spiritual experience. It scared the crap out of me, but maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. So, I got to put something on my Facebook thing. I feel bad whenever there's somebody I can't help that I'd like to, but at least Facebook's good for that. You can hope somebody else will see it or share it.
Yeah, Paul, if you could share it with us.
Yeah, the GoFundMe, you mean?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe I can do it right here. I'll see.
You could, Paul, you could just go to Facebook and put it directly on my
Put it in your message.
on my page.
Okay.
Yeah, put it right. Put Jim. Yeah, we're friends. Put it right on my page, and
I will. Here it is here too.
Yeah, I'll make comment on it. You can put it up, and then I'll have a comment on it and pin it to the top of the page for a while. That's all I can do, and I feel better doing just that.
Sure. Well, I can relate to that. There, I think I sent it out as a link here on this, but I'll send it to you on Facebook too.
Yeah. Well, you can just go like share it right to my page, directly to my page.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Until it's dry. Okay.
Well, this is a double.
Is there like a little blurb too about what this GoFundMe is for that you already have?
Yeah. I post updates to it. So there's the initial one that came out 2 years ago in 2024. And there's the most recent one when we paid the $1,000 on his fine, leaving the $4,555 left to go.
So is that on your
So
Facebook?
yeah, there's updates on it. Quite a few of them over the intervening years as we paid off the $10,000 bail.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was in jail for about 8 weeks, and I found a bail bondsman called Eve and the Outlaw in Twin Falls, Idaho. I figured with a name like Eve and the Outlaw, they were impressed, and they actually there's two people, Don Wirtschafter in Ohio and Adam Eidinger in Washington, D.C., and they signed their property to guarantee $250,000 bail for Dana, but they didn't pay the bail bondsman fee. So we raised that through the GoFundMe.
Okay.
But when Dana turned himself in, then Don Wirtschafter and Adam Eidinger's financial endangerment was gone. So, but they signed on so he could get out of jail there for, he didn't, from basically March of 2024, and he went in February of 2026.
Okay.
What was that class that Dana had to go to about?
He has to take a couple of substance abuse classes in there. And apparently that's part of the criteria for him to get out, since he was busted on a drug charge. And apparently the federal government gives Idaho a lot of money to make people take these classes.
But then he got kicked out of the class or something?
Yeah, he kept talking about Ibogaine.
Yeah, so
and imagine that. And he ran into trouble, but he's now agreed that he will shut up. He kept saying, he just is compelled. What can you say?
Yeah, I know. Okay, he said.
There it is.
Okay.
He said he's going to do that, and I told Kathy when I was 59, I promised I'd start being mature when I was 60. I'm like 74 in 2 days, and I can't seem to do it. So I understand him. I mean, if it was like Jim, if you don't get you're going to jail, I'd be in jail too.
On the GoFundMe page, I figured I put the picture up because Dana and the Yippies got a certificate of recognition from the mayor of New York City. So I put that up there, and there are a number of updates to that thing. He wants me to post another one right now, but I haven't done it yet. I put pictures on it too. If you go to the updates, then you can see some photos.
Where do you have this? Do you have this on your Facebook?
No, it's GoFundMe. It's the GoFundMe website.
The GoFundMe. Okay.
Yeah. So
you are a good man, Paul. I gotta say.
I keep trying.
You are.
You connect a lot.
There's the pictures.
Okay.
So there's a cartoon in one of those. I took those other pictures of Dana. I think I took those in Wisconsin. Yeah, there's the cartoon.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, it is. That's good. I like that.
I liked it too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's him.
Look at that sweet man.
There's
like, seriously.
Yeah, there's things about him. He organized a walk from Boston to Washington, and basically when they got to through New York into New Jersey, I took it over.
He organized the whole global marijuana march,
He bought a new pair
in
of
400. That's up in Seattle. He hung that sign in front of a police station during the Black Lives Matter takeover of Queen Anne Hill in Seattle. And so I took that picture there. But he organized the global marijuana march. I mean, they'd send out posters to 400 different cities around the world. And, in South America, in Santiago, Chile, they would have over 500,000 people march. And in Buenos Aires, like 450,000. And all over South America, it's a pretty big deal. And they're still doing the original one there in New York City, even though it's pretty small. Now, that is at the Great Midwest Marijuana Harvest Fest in Madison, Wisconsin, which started as a free Dana Beal event back in 1971. This picture is circa like 1990, 1989 or 90. And that is actually, I shared that picture with Wikipedia, so it's in the public domain. But that's when his hair still had color. And there's Jack Hare with him.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Jack's hair was black. That's at the Boise Hemp Fest.
I don't think
with
I know-
Jackie Winters, an activist there in Idaho. So I can tell you, we could go through the little. Then we have the receipts.
I met Dana in 1997 at there was the Cures Not Wars march down Fifth
Uh-huh.
Street. And that was quite a time because that was Cheryl's first trip to New York. She'd never been there. And they were by the Prudential building gathering there. And that's like 2 turns over to Fifth Avenue. So they were all on the sidewalk with the big wooden horses. There was like maybe 3,000 to 5,000 people getting gathered. It was a good sized walk. And we finally got there, and I see somebody open up one of them big, long, like 10-foot wooden horses. And I thought, okay, they're doing this so we can get into the crowd. But the crowd started coming out like a cattle call because they were beginning the walk. And first thing I see, Dana goes, "Wheelchair up front." There's all these people in one wheelchair. Next thing I heard was, "Wheelchair, turn left, turn left." Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know where we are. But anyway, Cheryl's first view of New York was of Dana doing that and leaning back just a little bit in a wheelchair, looking up through the canyon, and a big burly New York City policeman who took the place of a guy that started telling, "We got to walk faster, because Dana said they're cutting the walk short, so we're going to take twice as long." And they were objecting, and I said, "I can't go any faster. She'll like have a spastic attack, And the other guy relieved him, big guy. We're walking down, and Cheryl's looking up at him. He's looking down, and he's chanting, "We smoke pot, and we like it a lot," like he's trying to hide,
Remember that one?
Yeah, there's things you never forget. But again, that was like
That reminds me, today is Jack Hare's birthday. So just a moment, another moment to remember Jack Hare.
Oh.
That picture of him and Dana on the stage in Madison, Wisconsin reminded me of that.
Well, Jack had time to meet Cheryl real quick at a normal conference, and he seemed duly impressed, and that was kind of nice because that's obviously a long time ago now.
Yeah.
And she came to realize real quick then that this was the man. I mean, she could just feel the aura of what do you call it? That that's Jack. He's like a celebrity amongst anybody that. And then once you really got to know him, he was a piece of work. And I got to tell you what, man, see him get worked up when he's having something to say. I thought he was going to have a heart attack then and there one time at the New York Harvest Festival. The man has some passion when he got going too.
We have a picture.
Oh
The
yeah,
first
yeah,
time that we went to the thing up in New York.
Kathy met Jack. Yeah, you know Jack.
I took the picture. I wasn't in the picture. I took it, but one of my best.
Yeah. Kathy crossed paths with, and again, a hard sell too. It's like, you know who that was?
Yeah, I noticed that Jack's son, Dan Hare, has kind of picked up the mantle and created a brand for the family there. That Jack's son posted like 80 pictures of Jack there, including that one that we just showed there on the screen. But yeah, if you want to see a bunch of pictures of him. Yeah. When I first met Jack in Los Angeles, I was a contact in that Yippie newspaper, Overthrow. And so I went to LA while I was going to Evergreen State College. I had a break and I tried to get on trivia game shows like Jeopardy. They had these other ones, Joker's Wild, Tic-Tac-Toe.
Oh yeah.
And they'd give you these trivia quizzes. And about 50 people would take it and 2 or 3 of us would pass it. And I always made the passing grade in those trivia questions. I've always been quite trivial.
Yeah.
But
I've tried.
so I was there in LA, but I never they do like 5 of those tests a day, 5 days a week. And I never made the cut. While I was there, I looked in the Yippie newspaper and they had this thing that said Reefer Raiders. And I went down to Van Nuys Boulevard and I met this guy known as Captain Ed Adair. And I ended up staying in his head shop for about 2 weeks before I went back to Washington State, to Evergreen State College. And as I was leaving, he said, "Oh, you've got to meet my partner, Jack Harrer. He's just down the road. So I went down the road just off of Van Nuys. Jack had a shop called High Country. And that's where I met him. He took me out to dinner, and I left town. Then 2 years later, when we met, we talked about how an Oregon initiative had almost made it the ballot that week, which is like September. They turned in enough signatures, but not enough of them were valid. And so the next time I met him, though, it was in the petition office in Oregon. When I first came to Oregon, they had a cartoon of Jack on the wall. So I know that guy. And he moved to Oregon a few months later, but he'd been there before. And he lived in Oregon for about 3 years. He wrote the first edition of his book here in Oregon. He took over my house for about 2 months to put it all together in the last phase of the first edition. But it went through 13 editions before he passed.
The emperor wears no clothes.
Yeah, I had no idea I'd be talking about it 40 years later, you know.
No.
That was
And they have a strain named after him.
Yeah, I grew it last year. It's really a good strain. It
Yeah.
was originated by Cincy Seeds and Ben Dronkers, and they won a number of High Times Cannabis Cups in Amsterdam with that strain.
Oh, that's
well,
pretty
that's good because
fun.
it would really
It has great flavor, kind of a piney,
Yeah.
lemony mix, which are a couple of my favorite terpenes.
Very distinct.
Yeah.
It's a good strain. It really is. I enjoy it frequently.
I got some here. My wife is loading our volcano, but I don't know.
To go. To leave because we want to go.
I don't think it's Jack Harrer, though.
I'm glad it's really quality cannabis because it would suck if you got something named after you when it was mediocre, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I'm glad to hear it matches the namesake somewhat, you know.
So many strains have disappeared since then. It's amazing it's still around. Most young people think Jack Harrer must have been a grower. They don't know he wrote a book.
No, I don't think. Yeah, you're right. They don't. They don't.
Right.
Yeah, a grower, an activist. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like one of those. What do you call them? The unsung heroes.
Well, you know, I could be wrong, but if you had a cartoon Jack and a cartoon Eddie Lett, they might almost look the same. I'm in my head on the picture. I don't know.
I have a painting this lady made of Jack and Eddie. Kind of psychedelic.
Well, there you go.
There you go. It's kind of cartoon. It's more realistic and psychedelic, but not cartoonish so much. Can't show it to you right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Paul, going back to Ibogaine, the only place is Mexico where they.
Well, no, there's a guy in Arcata. You know, I'm not really an Ibogaine guy. You know, I only know about it from helping Dana. And so, but there is this guy, and I've sent a couple of my friends who had addicted friends to help them. But there's a guy in Arcata named Dan who has a clinic there. Dan, I think it's Dan Lawrence. And if you want, I can give you that contact. I don't have it memorized or anything, and it's on my device that's handling this video right now. But if you ask me in Messenger or text or one of the many channels out there, which confused me about which channel that message came in on. But I will send you his clinical information in Arcata, California.
Oh, okay. That would be really cool.
Dan and his wife. Oh, I can't remember. I might not. I'll send it to you.
So they have an actual treatment center.
Yes, and it's legal there in Arcata where they're at.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's legal from town to town, like some towns ban it.
Don't ask me to explain how that works, but I guess municipally they've allowed it. I'm not sure exactly if that passes state law muster or Certainly not probably federal muster, but you know, if the cops are leaving alone, that's what matters until they get busted.
You know, in Oklahoma, when I got there, and maybe even still when I was there in 1980, 81, beginning in 81, they had no liquor by the drink. You could not.
Oh,
buy
yeah.
Right.
The first time I voted when I was 18 years old in North Carolina was for liquor by the drink. It was not legal in North Carolina till 1978. People would come in with their liquor bottles in brown bags in restaurants, and the restaurant would serve them setups, and the patrons would have their brown bag liquor and add it themselves.
Well, Oklahoma, they were a little more, I'd say, like obvious. They had liquor by the wink, meaning you could, for instance, if you charged $1 to get in, that meant you were a member of their club.
Ah, okay.
Right? And therefore, they would pour you drinks for a pouring fee, not a fee for the liquor, because that was part yours as a member of the club. And I had it all explained to me, and I'm like, you're gonna be shitting me, right? No, and I'm like, you can. And finally, one time it happened, I walked in and I wasn't getting served. It was just somewhere I stopped. Man, I'd never been there. And I'm like, wow, you know, they must have thought I was like undercover. I don't know what they thought. The liquor by the wink, you know, and it worked. I mean, it worked. You know, they had big clubs there. Graham Central Station, they called it.
Medical is wide open in Oklahoma, but they had the worst laws until about a decade ago when they passed medical. They were one of the worst places. I wouldn't go to Oklahoma.
But how so were they worse?
So scary. I'd go to Texas, but I wouldn't go to Oklahoma.
What made it worse?
A joint could get you 99 years, you know.
Oh no! Oh yeah, when it was against. I thought you meant when they yeah.
That's worse.
Will Foster, right? What he had.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to have to go here soon. So I'm just going to give the heads up. What are we at? An hour and 22 minutes. So
yeah, time flies with us, doesn't it?
It does. I've got something to go to here. I need to be there in about 30 minutes, but I got to drive about 30 minutes to get there. So,
Paul, do you have a website or something that you want to promote?
You know, my main website is crrh.org. That's the most political one and national one, crrh.org. And that stands for the Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp. And that was the political committee that put marijuana legalization on the ballot here in Oregon when we failed in 2012 with ballot measure 80 and came back in 2014.
Yeah, they had to stop selling hemp here in New Jersey. A lot of shops had to stop.
Yeah.
Gas station hemp.
Yeah, that's right. It's everywhere. Well, they say they're going to ban that in November, and we'll see what happens. You know, the one thing I'll say is we do not have Schedule 3. It hasn't passed yet. There's a lot of opposition forming. The alcohol and pharmaceutical industries are fighting it. However, the DEA is sending out license applications to dispensaries and producers and growers to make them pay more money. And they're moving like it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And there are groups, you probably heard of Kevin Sabay. He's being funded by the alcohol and pharmaceutical industry to stop it. So he's trying.
They're angling.
So we don't have it, even though the Trump administration announced it twice.
Yeah.
You guys in New Jersey have a lot of experience with Trump.
Yeah. I have an automatic, when I hear that phrase, Trump said, or they announce, honestly, it's like I don't hear it. Like it
right.
It's irrelevant.
It's amazing times.
I mean, it's a coin toss. You know, it's not. It's like it's 50-50 at best. I mean, you know. Yeah,
I don't think it's that much hard.
No, but if it was the more, at least you could depend on what's going to happen by it would be the opposite. You know. Yeah. I got to tell you what, when I hear, and an agreement that will last 60 days or more. I've never heard that before. saying here's something that's going to happen, and it's
He can't. He'll deny it, but he can't deny he lost the. He can deny he lost the war, but he lost the war. You know.
yeah.
So
Well, I gotta tell
and
you,
we're all
look,
paying the price at the pump
look,
and
yeah,
at the
late,
grocery store.
late night TV is worth watching. Sometimes I get a little.
I can't believe he was elected.
you
But
know.
listen, I got to run. I want to
Okay.
thank you guys for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Paul.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. If you ever want me back, you know I'm available. So
yeah,
It
Fun.
was good to see you. Thank
we
you
got
again.
good to see you too.
Automatic.
And if you ever get out here to the Great Northwest, I'll give you a tour of the waterfalls and the mountains and the coast.
You're the man, Paul.
Beautiful.
All right.
Oh,
See
yeah.
you.
Sounds
Thanks,
beautiful.
Paul.
Have a
Thank you,
good
Paul.
Thank
night.
you.
You too.
So long.
We'll have to get him back for Cannabis Patient Awareness Day in July.
Oh, there you go.
July what?
Right.
July 10th.
July 10th.
Oil
17th.
day, 710.
Oil day.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
That's upside down oil day. But I got that nice sign where it's written like that way, oil, and then oil, and then oil. So basically, you know, it takes a while. Somebody goes, "Oh, I see, 710 oil." No, you know, yeah. We got to get, you know, we got to kind of have some fun, you know, that day. I forgot about that. That means an extra State House podcast.
Stop it.
Your favorite.
Yeah. Wow, look how close to the camera I am.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Everybody hears that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like picking this up and I'm hearing sounds, and they're pleasant.
No, we'll hear it.
Scary, you know. I want to make sure.
You're what?
I got a carnival that goes on, you know, and it's never that loud, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But you got to clear it, you know.
I got a dab thing. I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm going to go. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to go because I have something else to jump onto. All right.
No problem. Have a good week.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Get the rebound.
Hi.
And then there were us.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. I can see all better. You know.
I miss our Tuesdays hanging out show.
No,
Can I just say
actually,
that?
if I sit here, she's the same size as your head. That's pretty cool, you know. Anyway.
Well, if you want to change that, we have to put that on the minutes for next month's meeting.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying I miss it.
I'm just saying, if you do, then we can vote on it and change that.
What do you miss?
Just
Everyone.
hanging out and chatting.
Oh.
She misses her 2 for Tuesday.
Yeah, I do, and I do, but then sometimes I'm involved in something, and
Yeah.
you know, I just wrote. It took forever to write something for Susan Sciretto. You know, 29 years of addiction after an accident that killed her mother, and then weaning herself off opiates after 29 years using cannabis oil, and after a year being opiate free and running out of money, actually buying it in dispensaries and not being able to afford it, and then being back into pain management with opiates after only 19 months, but all the while keeping email thing with her assembly in Moriarty, you know, and it wasn't anything he could do about it. All she wanted him to do, meaning me, because I was writing her letters, was you got to be schizophrenic a little for me to do this, but me writing letters saying to him that she wanted him to confer with Assemblywoman Verlina Reynolds Jackson, who was the primary sponsor of A997, which was the Assembly identical companion to the bill in the Senate, which would have been 1393 then. And you know, it was like it took 20 days to get a response other than the one that was, yes, we received your email, because I always say I like a acknowledge receipt so I know a reply will be forthcoming. So you actually got that same day. 20 days later, getting from somebody named Brittany, yes, what is your best phone? So you can talk to the Assemblyman Moriarty directly. Oh, awesome, we're getting somewhere. 3 days later, she sends the number back. 10 days later, nothing. So she sends a little addendum back 10 days later, and it was, this is the day that I thought would never come. I go back into pain management at 1:30. It's so hard and I said, I called that out, and she made, anyway, what happened is 6 weeks later, she tried one more time with, I just wanted you to talk to her. And she got ghosted. We got ghosted. I take that personal because I was being her and she was just funneling it in. That's how it goes, But
Right.
So she wanted to reconnect with him now. He's a senator. So I spent time, and then I lost it writing something really, really cool, really good. Being her writing it and quoting me and bringing me back in, and I'm real proud of it. After I talked.
You should be.
I'm not wait. She'll probably say, "Oh, you can share that far and wide," because it's interesting. It's a culmination of 2 days worth where I lost because the computer went out and I hadn't saved it, and I'd lose the word thing, and and I was mad, angry at first, and I almost couldn't concentrate. And then it occurred to me sometimes that's because maybe it wasn't as good as it could be. I changed things around. Editing, you never finish, you just quit. That's the way it works.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah. So that when I got finally what I just sent her for her approval, and I reread it. One time I was able to reread it and I have the power. What happens is I picture somebody else. I picture somebody like this Susan person, and this Jim person. And I swear, when I connected with it, I realized, you'll really appreciate it. The options are, it's like hurting somebody because she's a senator now, and his office, Brittany, but me, keeps saying, your office. You follow me? It's not you, it's your office. And we even named who it was. I'm giving him his back door, his culpable deniability. Every time I do that, it's all on purpose, And what got ghosted and all that, but now it's the same exact question 3 years later for her new senator, which is him, elevating him into the Scutari arena, which has a new wrinkle. It's not just, will you talk to Singleton about the same bill you ghosted me on 3 years ago? It's the same exact bill. It's an incredible, fun opportunity as I delved into it. So, with all that being just road mapped sort of out for me there, it's going to be real interesting because I wouldn't expect a reply, but she did say that, here's what Jim sent me, a timeline of 5 things and quotes from emails, because he helped me write all these letters. So they know this guy Jim helped her with these. And then he got in touch with her with, here's the synopsis that really looks bad when there's quotes, and all of a sudden out, and with her.
Do you do a lot of bullet pointing?
No.
Or you're more storytelling?
No. I do hope this time that it's going to be a little more like fun than usual. But this guy Jim sounds like like he shouldn't mess with them, in my opinion, only because she said that having helped me with all these, he has access to all my emails, and he wants to put them on a public website, citing the like this stuff to pretty much show how your office dropped the ball. He wants to do that, but I have final say, you know. So,
Right.
so she has final say, and what she's saying is we can reset the clock with you and me. If you simply ask Senator Scutari why he's doing this, patients do deserve to know. They deserve to have somebody ask, you know. I know he's not, and say, but he won't answer you. And then you get back to me and say that you tried and he wouldn't answer you. Give me a synopsis. Email would be best for verification, because that goes back onto the email trail. I just want something, you know, the littlest thing, the littlest chink, you know. And it's kind of fun. I feel really like it's like therapeutic for me in the end after 2 days, because it's like a puzzle, and I like a puzzle. And Kathy correctly, it was like an accusation though, and it was years ago, but I'll never forget it, because it was like, ladies, man, you know, you say that like it's a bad thing moment. When I forget what it was, and when you make everything a game, and I went, yeah, you know, like I got no defense. I do, and it wasn't like you said it like it was a bad thing, you know. But then I never really realized that, and I realize it all the time. I'm always challenging myself, you know. Do you know that I can walk away from the microwave, putting something in for a minute, not look up and not think about it, and I can walk back with my head down like it's a bomb and it's going to explode, you know, like boop, boop, boop. And I swear I know exactly, you know, it's a game. I'm attuned to it. I know.
See, that's your superpower. Like my superpower, my kids tease me all the time. My superpower is finding the exact container to put leftovers in. Like it's the stupidest thing, but that's your superpower. Everybody has a superpower.
I can relate. Oh, I can relate to that. I can take a glass with orange juice left, you know, in a whatever, and I can tell it's just going to make it. Now, I don't always pour in like aha, because if it's a little bit, I feel stupid. But there are times when I slow it down and it's in a glass, and it's right to the top. So if I level off with the top, it's actually a little above it. I'm so proud. And see, as what I was talking about, Kathy's the hard sell. I can sell, you know. Oh, go away. I guess it's not that enthusiastically fun sometimes, but you know.
I get it. I get it.
You know,
that and pulling up real close to either the ATM or the more so the CVS drive-through, I can get right to that little. They have the COVID box still hanging, and I can get to within an inch of it.
Not me. I'm always too far away.
Yeah, and if she was your passenger, she'd be like leaning forward, like holding on to something too.
What's an ATM?
Oh, I'm a horrible passenger, and it's bad because I can't drive at night. I have night blindness.
Me too.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I can't drive at night.
It's kind of funny watching myself do that, you know. I do that sometimes kidding around when there's other people around, but it doesn't work this way because you see, there she is.
Well, you know, I always wanted to get in touch with somebody in Trenton to get some laws going about these people who buy brand new cars, and you can't even look at their headlights because there's no law about what they put on.
Okay, you know what I always say? You're gonna bitch about it, you gotta do something about it. Otherwise,
Well, I'm not driving.
by definition,
I'm not driving at night anymore.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you know, there's people I'll help you out. You can make an inquiry. You can be that person. I'm sure
Do you have one of those cars with those super bright headlights, by the way?
No, I have
No.
a mean,
Of course not.
no.
Oh, because if you did have one of those cars like that, you would love driving at night. Because I have one of those cars.
Do you? See, the thing with the night blindness is any light, it goes.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, it
that's
just.
part of being older, and that's what you get
You
first.
know what I get is certain things like blinking, not the brake lights that automatically blink and then they blink fast. You know, that I see that, but sometimes there's some things it's almost like a light show, and I'm going, whoa, it distracts me, but I don't really care. You know.
Yeah, no, there's these vehicles these days.
That's right, because there's no laws about it. They just keep.
You do realize how old you sound when
I
you
don't
do that.
care. I am old. So.
Me too. I'm 67.
Well, I'm older than that.
Yeah, but
And I'm proud to have made it this far.
See, but you don't look at it. You don't look at neither of you. Look. You shouldn't give it away if your looks don't. How's that?
I'm proud. I own that shit.
Good recovery, Jim. See what I'm doing?
I survived the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very confusing time for all of us.
Well, on and off in one day for me, yeah. Real confusing, not confusing, real confusing, not confusing. You know, I mean,
Please, you're like an encyclopedia.
I lose things in my hand. I'm convinced that George Carlin almost was right about when things get lost, they actually do. They're somewhere else, you know. And if you never give up, shit, they got to get back. All right, he's making a joke, but I got to tell you, you know, it's almost like it couldn't have been there. I just looked. It's silver. Everything else is wood. I should, you know. So
all the time.
Not all the time, you know. I remembered where I put something a couple days ago one time. Can't find it. I remembered.
Listen, I remember where we kept shit in the 70s and the 60s and where my mother kept shit. That I knew.
I couldn't find my glasses before, and they were clipped on my shirt.
Ooh.
Please, my sister-in-law last week
That's
was talking to me on the phone looking for her phone.
I've done that.
And and I'm no brighter either because I'm like, well, did you look under here? And yeah.
You know,
while you're on the phone.
You know, an opposite view of that, and it's actually, I don't know if it was, I don't know if you were at this festival or not in New York. You're going down like it's a path through the woods, and there's like people waking up on the side going, well, I'm not in my car, you know, really cool shit like that. And this guy was coming back up with coffee, and what I liked about it is I could carry a big fat joint in my mouth, so I'd know where it is, you know, because it's a festival, and I wasn't used to that. And I like the freedom part, you know. I'm not looking over my shoulder. And some guy was just the way he looks up at me, and he very seriously would ask us, "Oh, it's in your mouth if you're looking for it," you know, that joint. But that just meant that he looked and was that kind of person where, yeah, I've done that. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
And there really was a guy waking up, like where his car is parked on the side of the road. I was walking by, and he wasn't doing it to make a fun comment. He actually was waking up going, "This isn't my car," you know, and it is real, you know. It's fun stuff.
Speaking of cars, it looks like Lefty might be in his.
You going to Berlin on Saturday, Lefty?
Yes, on Saturday we have a table at the UFCW hall.
UFCW.
The union. You know, the union that was going to lend us their rat, but when Hugh couldn't get possession of this 20-foot-high rat, Lefty bought Ratari. So we're going there to Hugh's place, and I'm assuming Ratari's going.
Real quick, Jim.
Yeah.
Did you say your birthday is in 2 days?
Yeah, it's Saturday. I'm going. We're having a birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
It's my son's birthday, my son-in-law's birthday.
Awesome.
Wow.
And my dog niece.
Wow. Well, and it's the longest day of the year, you know. So
Jim, we need signs for Atari. We don't have signs for Atari.
Oh, we will. Do we have the
We
one
will.
at all where, because he holds one, and I don't have the template of where that hand is. I'll look at a picture and do the best I can. I'm okay with that, maybe. I'll give it a shot. You know, his arms might be squeezed in a little if I put the holes in the wrong. No, there's one hole in one that's just so cool the way her holds it.
It's one big hole and one little hole for the thumb.
Yeah.
Do they know you're bringing Atari?
Hugh?
It's better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission.
Okay. Okay. Does the guy that was gonna lend us the 20-foot rat, does he mind us bringing a 10-foot rat?
I doubt it very much. I think he'll thinks it's funny.
It's a union rat. It's his fault. He started it.
He did start it.
The rat, and
It's his fault.
and we tried to borrow it, and you bought it, and we got no freaking money for it.
Just
Yeah,
put
we're blackmailed.
95.5 on it.
You know,
The rat.
here's the deal. It belongs there because, as you know, there is division, especially with the Coalition for Medical Marijuana. I mean, I'm allowed to say that because do I need to bring an addendum? The Coalition for Medical Marijuana doesn't support Ratari. I mean, that's the agreement I have with them, and it's not like giving board business away, but that's the trade-off, and that's like me going, you know, come on. You know, you don't want that either. Do you really? Now you got to explain that. You don't like Ratari? Let's see. We don't want to piss off Scutari because we need him to get anything passed. Oh, 5 years, no hearing, and we don't want to piss him off.
We need that? We don't need that.
Yeah, anyway, the fact that is...
And enough time has passed.
It's called the 800 or 600-pound elephant in the room or whatever. It's a matter of we're going to be there.
Can we get an elephant instead then?
It's going to be
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
There's discussion. If there's somebody talking and there's a discussion, any questions, and I got a questions, how do you feel about Ratari? You know, we like the idea of good cop, bad cop. We realize that opening the door with Ratari was much like when I'd opened the door with Cheryl. We never were the ones to speak when we got a door open. Somebody that could do it better did. And that wasn't good cop, bad cop. But the good cop, bad cop thing is, yeah, so what if we piss off Scutari, but it's a righteous pissing off and everybody can understand it? What if it can't be defended? He has to talk to somebody. We open the door and you know, get him in. But I understand different points of view, and I'm not always right. So I think it deserves discussion.
Screw Tari.
Yes, screw Tari.
So you in your car? Where you going?
That's what I used to, you know. Okay, how about if we call him Scooter?
Scooter. Let's call him Boomer at that point.
Okay, well, we'll call him Senate President Scooter. No, I'm okay. But anyway, I like the idea. You know, it's
Boomer.
Ratari hasn't made an appearance at the State House since months before Thanksgiving. Hasn't been at the State House yet.
So that would have been October.
Well, you know, the thing is, actually, the first time around, I thought, okay, on Thanksgiving for sure, Governor-elect Cheryl at that time had posters on our pop-ups on Thanksgiving, you know, saying patients need help and why without Ratari. And then he wasn't there on the first one. And, you know, I was good with it not being there in her first 100 days only because I was okay with her not knowing about it then. There wasn't anything she was going to do. Everybody tried to get in touch with her. You know, that's the kind of thing that if nobody got in touch with her out of everybody that tried, there's a reason for that. I mean, it was all purposely misdirected or it's not a big deal. So the idea of being able to say gave her 100 days without any hint of it publicly. But now, what the fuck? You need to deal with this. You need to recognize it. And you need to do it now because you already know you're culpable of deniability to be able to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was this bad. You only get that once, and this is it. You know, don't make us bust down the door. You know, matter of fact, it would be quite proper to call into the podcast while we're there, would it not?
Are you getting any response from your emails at all? Have you gotten any replies?
Not from there. I tried twice.
Not from anybody in her office?
Yeah, I just tried twice. You know, I get to say I tried twice. You know, and hope that
Producer, let's call him now. Put him on the line.
Yeah, right. But the things that she said to get elected indicated that she would not be in favor of this being blocked. And I've also heard, okay, Jim, Senator Scutari is not breaking any Senate rules or any laws, so he doesn't need to explain anything. I've heard that. You never have any idea how that makes me feel. I'm not going to be ever particular about who said that.
It triggers you.
I can complain about that in front of the person who said that without going, he did. You know. Now, yeah, I get what they're saying, but we do it in kind of a humorous, funny way. But out in New Jersey, this is the definition of a rat. He got this all done for patients. It got pulled away from him. He was the greatest hero patients had. He promised we could deal with this after the law was up and running in 2009. So by 5 years later, I was already like, what the fuck? Where's the bill? It's up and running. We assumed when he said we can revisit it, he, as the one who got it done the first time, was going to be the one to write the bill, but he didn't do it. So with the home grow thing, let's go back to the video of me at the Coalition for Medical Marijuana's home grow press conference 9 years ago. And I was down on Scutari then. He probably wouldn't have liked what I said then. Actually, that'd be kind of fun to get that up and get some sections of that up right now, because what the hell, that was 9 years ago. That's right. I had that shit sniffed out back then. And people be telling me now, don't bring Rattari. Yeah, all right. You know, basically, what we ought to do is have something 10 times worse than Rattari and unveil that. So you got your wish, motherfucker. We didn't bring Rattari. We brought who knows what, you know.
Jim,
something with
you're a little aggressive tonight.
Yeah, that's a good thing, though. I mean, it is. It's like an aggressive with a purpose. It's like where you feel the potential.
It's a passion. It's a passion.
Where okay, it's like you ever do one of them. What do you call them? A jigsaw puzzle. You know, and you know, you're finally getting it all done, and you're finding the pieces quicker now. The stuff's starting to make sense. It's starting to come into view. It's like learning to play something on the banjo so slow that you can't hear the melody. I've done this, the Beverly Hillbillies, you know, and then all of a sudden when it's there, you find out every fourth note is the melody, the rest are background, you know, and yeah, it's getting to that point. So I guess I am kind of good, and I'm feeling a little relief going to happen on my, God, I had to think, 74th birthday. The reason I got to think about how old I am is I've been almost 74 for like 2 months now. If people say, how old are you? Hey, I'm almost 74. I never got the hang of underplaying it. I always seem to like, hey, I'm that old now, right? And so, you know, I get to
That's
be.
how I feel. I'm that old now.
I get to be that guy, and
I always say,
oh, don't be that guy, Jim.
Yeah.
It's it's like, when did this happen?
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like it's like all of a sudden you wake up and like, oh, I'm an old lady, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to enjoy it.
Lefty. What if you set up?
What's that?
What if you set up the rat at the place?
Yeah.
And somebody tells you to take it down.
Well, who? Somebody.
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 The guy who's running it.
Well, then we take it down.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Right. I'm just
absolutely.
asking.
Well, actually, the guy, someone who's running it, we're certainly going to be talking to Hugh before the rat makes an appearance. You know, and if he said for some that we're good with that. He's the man. You know, and apparently he's there's been some setbacks with the rules and of unionizing and cannabis in New Jersey. I'm forgetting what that is now. I'll blame that on the cannabis, but apparently there's a wrinkle that's not a good wrinkle going on. We'll find out about it.
Bring the iron, Jim.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't take any more talking about home grow for either adults or patients. And the things I've put up or written lately, they're equally for both because they do apply. It's not about the bills. It's about the bills not being allowed to be heard. All of everything should be about that. It's the dam needs to break. It needs to be dealt with. So to be talking about why the bill's good, why it works for patients, that's good to talk about, but not with the opposition, and certainly not dealing with legislators. It has to be about the bill's not being heard. I went through 2 days to see if I could coax Senator Moriarty, or if Susan could coax Senator Moriarty to actually ask Senator Scutari. It's a question that I can't dodge. Here, look at the email, and then he could go, "Oh shit, not Jim Miller," whatever. Well, I Google. She says Jim Miller. Then help me Google, and then in parentheses Google search Jim and Cheryl Miller marijuana New Jersey. Okay, go ahead, do that. Google search that. And don't ever look anything up. When you Google search, all you're looking for is titles and a little bit you can see. When you go through that and use the word marijuana instead of cannabis, the older shit comes up too, which is way more spectacular than the things that have been going on when everybody's been doing it, So that basically it shows longevity ain't going nowhere, And I got ammunition now. I got a lifetime ammunition. So it's all getting dumped in Moriarty's lap. He's a Democrat, the idea of getting ignored again. I almost like that because, then got to follow through on Tom from Shore Grow. Tom, the one that doesn't work there anymore. The main guy for growing shit, Yeah, he understands the logic.
They have a sale at that place.
What's that?
Shore Grow. They're changing locations and changing owners.
Where are they?
I think they're in Deal right now on Route 35. They have
Well,
like a 50% off sale going on and everything in the store, and 20% off all soil.
Blackburn also has been having some really good deals in Highland Park. I'm sure
This is a grow store. This is
this is also this is also
hydro store.
This is also for me. I'm not a hardware sort of guy, but that's where I get Brother Rick's oil. So I don't just get it. I go, when's a good time? And it always seems to be the same couple of growers coming up, and it's like hanging around the hardware store, and Tom would be trimming buds behind the counter, and the freaking stories and pictures on the phones and stuff. And I was the non-grower going over my head sort of guy. But it was kind of cool, hanging with all.
I've lost hours in that store.
Oh man, it was and the stories that the growers had and all, and that was I guess it was fun for me because every now and then, Tom, we both have like really higher opinion of me than I deserve, and that's cool with me. But they'd spring me onto growers, and I'd get like thanked for my service and shit, like I was over out at war somewhere. It was kind of funny. But anyway, they.
What's the name of the place again?
Shore Grow Hydro.
Yeah.
Shore Grow Hydro.
Going.
Well,
Somebody else is going to buy it.
yeah, I don't know what
No, they're. I think they're gonna change owners. I think maybe from the father to the son or something.
Yeah, that
They're
was
supposed
going
to,
to happen in August, I think. I'm not sure, you know.
and then
But,
they want to get like a new location. I think.
Why? Because nobody comes there.
no, it's a business
Oh.
also, and the
Well,
business.
they're right. They're right next to a car wash, and the location isn't exactly easy to get to.
Yes.
You have to go like take two jug handles to get
Yeah.
to it. The other place was easier to, and right off the
Well, the other-
circle in Asbury.
The other place was closer to me too, a little. I mean, I would be coming, from Tom's River. It was certainly much closer to go all the way to Deal. Is it Deal?
Yeah, it's only maybe like 5 miles up the road, if that. But
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to tell you about this dab thing I got real quick, and then I'm really tired. I'm also very high.
You're old.
I'm old. I'm old as shit. It's past my bedtime. But I got this thing from Ooze. Have any of you heard of it? It's called a hover.
What?
And what it does is like you you have this piece here. I don't have it in now because I'm cleaning it, but it's got like this tip. I'm showing you the wrong thing. This is a tip. Okay, I'm in the middle of cleaning it. And it goes on this end. And what you do is you don't even have to take any dab, any wax, anything out of the container, because all you do is heat this up, and you hover over the wax and whatever.
Yeah.
And as it heats up, the smoke starts, and you just inhale it. It's like the wildest thing. So I'm just waiting for it to finish, drying through, and it's still, still got a little resin in it.
I've
So
never seen that. So that captures the smoke. I mean, like if you had like the hot spoon things, where you
yeah,
press them together, it would work for that too.
yeah, you just hover right over. You don't even have to touch it. Clearly, I've touched it because. But oh my God, it works so good. And you want to know something else?
I do.
It was $25.
it's like
sounds
these
reasonable.
things.
What are those?
The same thing. They're just dab pens.
And okay.
They're little dippers.
Little dippers. Boy, you're full of information tonight.
Does that-
And they have the Big Dipper.
Okay, now, the little dipper. Where it
It's
looks
the same thing. It has the little tip on the end,
So this
like this right here, and this heats up.
Stop.
But
Easy.
what?
And then you inhale from this end. So you just
So where is what heats up? Was it in the end of the thing there?
it's this piece right here.
Yeah, but
This piece
Yeah.
heats up.
is it like for wax where you take it?
Yeah. You just take it and you just
You
dip
can-
it
you can
inside
do-
the container.
Yeah, you get like okay if you had wax on wax on wax paper. I never realized that wax paper.
No, you'll burn through the wax paper. You want to leave it in the jar
Yeah.
because it's basically like the heating element for like the
Yeah.
old cigarette
Yeah,
lighters
well,
in the cars.
We have one of that at the house.
Yeah.
Rick's got one, got one like that.
It's like the
pretty
same exact principle.
Well, I do like the burst as opposed to the, elongated with the smoke. I kind of do like that. We've had some pretty good times without actually having a lot of bud being smoked at the podcast in Trenton. And, I don't know, one time Lefty, you and me stayed after one and had, as I remember, eight puffs on whatever kind of wax there was. And then I had to wait to drive for a little bit. It's like, I'm going to hang out for a minute, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen.
he's done that to me a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, Lefty, we went down.
Like,
went
we get out of council meeting. Oh, we just talked to like 50 cops, like at an INE tour. Like, here's a dab. Okay, now I got to sit here for 2 more hours. Great.
Okie doke. UFCW 360 also doubles as a banquet lounge thing. So, they probably, has a different, it's the same entrance, but banquet thing. And then the doorway past where we would go in before, where the main parking lot is, as you would walk into the right on that side of the building on the other corner, there's another doorway which has the UFCW thing on it. Because this was originally, according to Hugh and Ken Walsky passing it on to me, was it Saturday or the Saturday before? Saturday. Anyway, Kathy and me drove out there and thought we were going to it. I guess it was 2 weeks ago, and there was nobody there except for that. And I don't really care. It wasn't that long of a ride from here, really. It's like 35 minutes. But I was surprised. So anyway, just fair warning. I don't know. I wasn't quite sure if we were in the right place. What the hell, I mean, would I go to sleep for 10 years and wake up?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's past my bedtime and I am
But,
stoned.
it's, I don't know. I am feeling not just antsy. It's just like, Lefty, it was
You got yourself some good sativas. What I'm guessing.
Christopher would be saying, what is it, same old usual suspects, same old thing, huh? Same old thing? And I'm feeling like Pete Christopher now. It's sort of like,
You can get some really good weed in California.
this is not enough. It's fun, but it's not enough. There is, and it's like Lefty, try so
You're
hard.
motivated.
We can't get the outrage. We can get people feeling bad just with all the bad stories.
What is it for? Why are they having this?
It's a cannabis related event. It'll have to do with the same stuff it always does. Well, Chris.
Stay home, Kathy. Stay cool.
Chris
I want to go.
Chris is speaking. He's speaking over something at Hub 13 4 days later, and that's in Trenton.
Yeah, I can't because I've got double birthdays.
Ken Walsky and
And dog.
Velasquez are speaking, and Scott Rudder's speaking at the one there also in Hub 13.
Are you going there?
That costs money.
Are you going there, Lefty?
No, if it costs money, no.
Yeah.
Oh, Lefty, you Venmo or do you Zelle?
I sell.
Okay. We'll talk later so I could sell you the money for the business cards.
I probably got to do cash because our Zelle for our business account is not set up.
Oh, okay.
It would just go to my account, but I could maybe do something with that though. All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Johnny,
Not
can you
now,
say
'cause
it?
I'm high.
Can you say it, Johnny?
This
Oh, you're in trouble.
concludes our podcast.
Oh, come on! You can do better than that. Do it again. Do it again.
This concludes our podcast.
That was good. That was good.
Good night, guys. Have a
Night.
good weekend.
Take it
You
easy.
too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, CMMNJ, UFCW, Arlo Glass, SoberMachine.com, and SativaCross.org.
Be donating.
Be donating. Our list begins.
We already feel bad.
You want to feel like shit? Hang out for another 2 minutes.
But
These
we
are all our
already-
friends and family.
Good night, guys.
I know. I don't want to feel like shit.
I got a hold of Kathy right now, man. I'm not letting go. No, it's true. I joke about it, but each time you read the list, I as you're reading it, I adjust the blinders I naturally have for what I allow myself to actually think about, as opposed to acknowledge. There's a difference between acknowledging something and actually thinking about it. Yeah. So as the list goes, I can choose the level of acknowledgement that I want to go, because I kind of know when the names that hurt most are coming up. It's like a record, and I feel it coming.
Goes on and on.
You know, it's like, I'm sure it's not like a, I don't know, what do
Can
you
you hear the
call it?
bell? Can you hear
Yeah.
that?
Barely, but yes,
No, it's very low.
That's good enough. I can hear that.
I can hear that.
I'll try it. Okay. Cheryl Miller,
There you go.
Sabina, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Holly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger,
Roger.
Jay, Ella, Patty, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, keep doing it. Oh, sorry. Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jay Bird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Waxy, Joe Marie, Paul, Jeff.
Miss them all.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you Saturday for Jim's birthday
Yeah.
party. Dab it up.
Yep.
Dab it up.
Hey, you know, it was fun sneaking up on Dana. I felt horrible him not knowing I was here. And I was afraid he was I gotta go. And it'd be like, Dana, it's me, Jim. You know, I
That's
mean,
great.
you like save Cheryl's son life for another 3 decades. You know, you got to say hi, right?
See you Saturday. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them. Thank you.